Say goodbye to the 50 states. Get ready for FEMA regions for the North American Union. The infamous agenda for the North American Union is taking shape, and the plan to do away with the 50 states and create FEMA regions is happening right now. This entire plan, we've all heard of it before, except for they were going to declare martial law first. There was going to be some massive disaster first. However, this is the slow agenda. That's what we're covering right now. And the slow agenda puts this new map out in the open. This map actually came from Forbes back in 2013 because this is a 32-year-old agenda. And it's happening right now. The land without borders, where states do not exist. You have many nations inside the United States of America. This is all what's coming about. An article was written by, what was his name? Parag Khanna, a contributor for the NY Times. Sorry, I couldn't remember. I wrote it this morning. I just couldn't remember what his name was. And according to him and other people who are also behind this movement, they believe that we should set America, do away with the states and all of that, and of course put in 7 regions. And within those regions, task them accordingly. So like with this here. Let's see if I can. Yeah. The Southeast Manufacturing Belt, the Great Northeast, the Great Lakes, the Great Plains, Inland West, Pacific Coast, and the Gulf Coast. Now this is all a part of their agenda. For what exactly? Because economically, this might work. But the problem is, there's a hidden motive, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the problem is, states protect individual rights. The original Civil War that was fought in America was over what? Not over slavery. It was over states' rights. And this new agenda to do away with all of the states and create regions would do away with the rest of states' rights and our rights as the individuals. Because we would have essentially big, larger-than-life cities than what exists now. And of course, you'd have a ruling class of elites that would run this region or one of the regions. And then it would be there would be another elite over that. And in the whole scheme of things, the common man or the people would be just slaves, done away with. There'd be 2 classes of individuals. One would be a leader, where you would be a slave. That's how this is where this is going. Oh, but it would be great for our economy, wouldn't it? According to Parag and those sourced in the report, the 50 states are dysfunctional and very messy, especially economically. With America continually on the downturn of leading the world in innovation, it becomes increasingly more evident that the USA is failing. Advanced economies in Western Europe and Asia are reorienting themselves around robust urban clusters of advanced industry, says Parag. However, is that the real motive behind it all? Because we already see what's taken place in the EU and other countries around the world. Now it's beginning to happen here. And of course, Hillary Clinton had just recently stated that within 100 days of her being selected, not elected, because no, there are no more elections. It's called a selection for a reason. Within 100 days of her selection, we would have no more borders for the United States of America. Now, as far as if she's talking Canada and Mexico, we're talking about the absolute North American Union. Or if she's talking about no more state borders, then we are actually talking about the beginnings of the North American Union, which seems to be it's more practical for that. That would take place before we join with Canada and Mexico, which are both absolutely horrendous ideas because it's all a part of the New World Order. The plan for the New World Order is very clear: a centralized worldly government where there are no more borders and only a ruling class of elites who run the world, placing that as another boundary line for the end times. Using the discontinuation of the states, the 50 states, paints a clear picture that America is preparing itself for the New World Order. And of course, these were all posted back in 2013. It was the original one was this here. It was back on Forbes. That's right. This was prediction for the next decade. And this was going to take place, I guess, by 2023, because 10 years from 2013. And we're already in 2016, and you've got a potential selected president saying that we're not going to have any more borders. The idea to combine states and do away with the border lines is not a new one, but rather it began 32 years ago, proposed by a man named Joel Guerrero. His idea was to have 9 states. Given the furthering of time, it's now been dwindled down to 7, which should only make one wonder how long till it dwindles down to 1. Centralizing government is never a good idea, and that is the undoubted plan for it all. Federalizing all police forces, as we see what's taking place right now, to act as one rather than several hundred dysfunctional little tiny police forces or larger police forces. They may be dysfunctional, but of course, if it's all centralized, it is the utter essence of control. Painstakingly showcases the agenda for the North American Union. Now, of course, this guy who came up with this plan happens to be a transhumanist. And of course, he falls right into the elitist mindset and so on and so forth. But what we do know is that these regions, we've heard them before. And it's called FEMA regions. We've seen the plans under the New World Order, under martial law, or under some sort of disaster, what would go into effect. And that would be the FEMA regions. You'd have a central hub, and then of course the area, the region would be under control by a ruling force, or the police force, or the military. And that's practically what they're trying to do, as you can see here with the regions. Look at this. It's a total insanity. And if you can look on this one, you can see the lines. These would be railways or trains that would go back and forth. It just all gets clearer and clearer every single day, the agenda, and it's all coming about. But with that, that's all the news I've got for you. I want to thank you guys for watching and listening. God bless and carry on. We need your help. That is why we have this membership program. So please sign up today and become a member of freedomfightertimes.com. $3 a month, $1 a week, or $27 per year. God bless and carry on.